Jaxson, what's the mood like in the locker room after Saturday?
Same as it's always been. Just ready to win the next game, that's it. Try and build off our mistakes and hopefully come with a win next game.
What were some of those mistakes that you all saw from the Vandy film?
Turnovers. I feel like we gave up a lot of easy shots late in the second half. Just trying to guard without fouling. It's been an emphasis for us. But we're trying to find that even balance of not fouling when we don't need to and also being able to contest shots when we need it. So I think those are the two biggest areas of improvement.
What do you think led to those turnovers, especially in the first half? You guys turned it over more in the first half than you're averaging in like an entire game.
I don't know. That's a good question. We knew it was something that we need to address and fix in the first half going into the second. I think the first 15, 16 minutes of the game, up until that last media timeout, we did a great job. But the last 4 minutes didn't go our way.
Conversely, when you guys made that run in the second half, what was it? Was there like a switch that kind of flipped at halftime? Like what led to that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we knew what we were doing on the court in the first half was unacceptable. So just trying to go out there and fix it. That was it.
And in the post-game radio, you talked with Goose about how y'all have been preparing for all these physical battles and to be called for a lot of fouls, and then you come out in a game where they really don't call a lot of fouls at all. Was that frustrating? Did you all notice that kind of quickly, and how difficult was it to kind of adjust to that on the fly?
I wouldn't say it was frustrating. It's just something that we're not used to, especially in the SEC up until this last game. I feel like we've had a lot of foul calls, whether it's our way or the other team's way. And then when you've been preparing all week to guard without fouling, and then there's not any fouls called, it's a little confusing. So just trying to be better, that's it.
I'm sure you all prefer to play with fewer fouls as well. It keeps the momentum going. Is that kind of how you prefer to play as well in a game when you are maybe more prepared for not as many fouls?
I think it just, like you said, keeps the momentum going. There's not as many stops in the game. It's easy to go on runs. And that's what our team is built off of, just going on runs. And I feel like when the foul count is really high, it's hard to do that.
How did you see Ansley kind of step up with Andrew not playing?
It was huge. He made shots. He defended really well. I mean, everybody knows what Ansley's capable of, so it wasn't any surprise to any of us.
When you've got players that are out or they're maybe not 100%, is there a feeling of I need, like as a team, like each person needs to step up and pick up for what those guys normally bring?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's how every team operates. I mean, if somebody goes down, everybody knows that they got to step up in some way, especially if it's somebody significant. So, like I said, I think Ansley did a great job of stepping up for AC and coming in, bringing energy, knocking down shots, defending, rebounding, all those things.
Does it bring a sense of pressure at all going into a game or no?
Man, it's just basketball. I mean, it's not do or die. At the end of the day, after the game, the buzzer goes off. We're still going home. We're still going to go about our regular lives. We're human beings. So, I mean, it is what it is. Got to live with the results.
It goes without saying, another tough test coming up tomorrow night, and Tennessee's a bit of a rivalry with Kentucky. What are you guys expecting out of that one?
They're a tough team. I mean, I know everybody knows that, so just going in there with a chip on our shoulder, knowing we got something to prove, especially after last game and the performance we put out there in the first half. We're just looking to fix it and change it and hopefully come out with a win.
Is it tough to kind of keep that mentality? You just talked about Jaxson. The buzzer's going to go off. We're going to go home. The game's going to end. When there's a lot of pressure here at this university in particular to win every game and win it handsomely as well.
I mean, maybe to some people, but as far as I look at it, each of us are doing it for us in the locker room. It's about us. It's not about anybody else. So. We're just fighting and playing for our brothers. It's as simple as that.
When you look at up and down kind of the stats that you've had that come and gone with three-point shooting, is there a way that you guys feel like you can get to more of a consistent basis with that down the stretch of the season?
I mean, we can't. I mean, all we can do is put in extra work, put up shots, but we can't control if the ball goes in or not on a nightly basis. If it doesn't, then we got to find ways to adjust and that's what our team is built off of, adjustments and figuring out ways to get better.
With the lower number of attempts from threes at the Vandy game specifically, were they doing anything, or was it just the flow of the game? And then Coach Pope said also the cutting in the Alabama game, he thought maybe could have opened up more threes. Is that?
Yeah, I think there is too much standing on the perimeter, especially when guys like Ortega is getting to the basket, but he may come to 2 feet and doesn't really know what to do with it, but all the guys are standing on the perimeter. So after the Vandy game, we talked about just ways that we can improve as far as just moving without the ball and not standing and watching.
You've talked about kind of the adjustment of doing that at BYU last season. Where do you think this team is with that? And, I mean, how difficult is that to do once you get in actual games?
I mean, it's hard. The team that I had at BYU, we were together for 2 years. We had trials and errors. First year wasn't great, but coming back that second year, we knew what we needed to do to improve. So, I mean, with this team, we're just trying to figure out how to do it on the fly in 1 year, a couple months. So, I mean, I think we're doing a great job. I know that we might have let go of 2 games, but I think we're perfectly fine, and there's not really a need to panic yet. So.
Going back to Tennessee, they don't play the prettiest style of basketball, and it's a lot different from how you guys prefer to play. Is there a way to get them kind of out of that, or do you, when they slow it down that much, do you kind of have to get down to their level, so to speak, and play at that pace?
Well, I mean, for us, our most efficient offense is in transition, so just figuring out ways and taking any opportunity we can get to just get out and run, I think will be really helpful for us. And then just making sure we're playing with great pace in the half court and cutting super hard. It's hard for any team to guard that when we do it. And I think we've showed that throughout the whole season, but it's a matter of just doing it consistently, which is something I talked about with the team after the Vandy loss. So, yeah.
Looking ahead a little bit, but it's a big week with Arkansas coming to town on Saturday. I think a lot of emotion for a lot of people. How do you guys block that out as a team?
It's just basketball. I mean, there might be some tension between some people, but we're just going out there and hooping, regardless of who we're playing. It's the same thing every night.
It seemed like the A&M game, you had maybe a little extra chip on your shoulder there. Does that one mean anything extra special to you? Since I imagine all the players and staff, everybody's gone from over there.
It's just a game. I don't really have much to say, honestly. That's it. So.
I know you said in the preseason you and Curry got pretty close. Just what have his spirits been like behind the scenes during this whole stretch? And I mean, how big a loss is this for you guys, especially that pace of play you talked about?
I mean, obviously it's really detrimental to this team, not having Kerr, especially as another point guard that we were looking to when he was healthy. But he's done a great job just keeping his spirits high on the bench, in the locker room, being very vocal and just helping out guys like me or TP who might have to step into that point guard role.
What have you seen or have you done too much film on Tennessee yet, or kind of what have you seen so far out of them? What are you all preparing for?
Yeah, we talked about him and watched some film yesterday, but I think we still have a lot more work to do as far as just getting out today in practice and running through their actions, just getting to know their personnel a little bit, but we'll be prepared when the time comes.
You said it's not time to panic. How difficult is it to kind of put each game away, especially like a 2-game losing streak, and move on to the next and kind of look at the big picture of the season as opposed to?
I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I know that conference play is up and down. It's not going to be an uphill like the whole time. So, I mean, you're going to have your ups and downs, but you just got to keep pushing through it. Eventually, you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Ortega talked after the end game about you guys need to be better at bringing the physicality to the opponent instead of kind of waiting for it to kind of hit you guys. Could you explain that a little bit more?
I don't really know how you want me to.
Like, I mean, Ansley was saying, like, yeah, it's more of like a mindset you guys have to come out with at the start of the game instead of kind of waiting for the first few minutes to be played.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a mindset thing. Eventually, we got to, figure out that, like, we're at the University of Kentucky. We're going to get everybody's best shot. We've been saying it all season, but when you're in a hostile environment in front of a huge crowd, it hits a little different. So like Ansley said, just having the mentality early, being prepared for it, I think it will carry us a long way.
Tennessee obviously comes out with that physicality, one of the best defensive teams in the nation. So is that some kind of a point of emphasis as well? Like, all right, let's start fast against these guys. Let's hit them hard, kind of hit something back.
Yeah, I mean, we know we got to take care of the ball first and foremost. We did a terrible job of that against Vandy. Tennessee causes a lot of turnovers. They're very aggressive. So that's going to be a big emphasis in practice today and the next, or really the entire time that we're through conference and heading into the tournament. But definitely big for this game.
Looking back at that, were the turnovers, was it something Vandy was doing well, or were you guys just more careless with the ball than other games?
I think we were just careless. I think there were a lot of errors that we don't normally make, but we're human. We make mistakes. All we can do is grow and learn from it, and I think we'll see that throughout the rest of the season.
Turnovers hasn't been a problem for you guys a lot this season. So over the last, I think you guys are 4-4 in the last 8 games. Are you guys noticing any other common themes amongst those losses? Because turnovers really was just a lot.
Yeah, I think our assist opportunities correlate pretty well with us winning and losing. When we always break down the numbers after the game the next day, I feel like when we don't have probably 40 assist opportunities, that's usually equivalent to a loss for us, is what I've started to realize. Rebounding, and then defensively, I think we did a way better job this past game about the things that we wanted to correct. But like you said, we lacked in turnovers, so can't give the team 17 extra possessions and hope to win the basketball game. So, yeah.
Do you know how many assist opportunities y'all had against Vanderbilt?
I think 35.
And that's, I guess, below the. Is there like an average number y'all are at, or?
Yeah, I think 35 is probably like the lowest that we want to go, but 40. Like I feel like every time he says 40, we are winning the basketball game.
Jaxson, thanks. That number isn't hit, or maybe you guys ideally want to be scoring 80 plus, but aren't. How confident are you guys can go out and win a slugfest when needed?
I mean, we can do it. Like I said, we just got to cut down the turnovers. If we cut down the turnovers, then we probably come out with the win at Vandy. So, I mean, it's just little simple things. It's really small things that we just got to fix. We're right on the edge of being a great basketball team. So, I mean, hopefully the rest of BBN's patient and knows that we're trying.
Jaxson, just the way the roster and some injuries have shaken out this year, the depth being utilized. We saw all 3 of the freshmen playing against Vanderbilt. Just from your vantage point as a guy who's played so much college basketball, what are those younger guys doing in practice that's allowing them to translate, the obvious success they've had, to the games and such like that?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Trent Noah. I mean, he's been sitting on the bench almost the entire season, but for him to just get thrown into the fire against Vandy and play the way that he did, he went out there and played hard, got some good offensive rebounds, was aggressive defensively. He didn't make every right decision, but I think what matters most is just his motor and his engine. But I think just the work that they put in and day out. I see Travis, Trent, Carr, all those guys working extra every day, and they do it together. They know that they're going to be here together for the next couple of years, so it's really cool to see the bond and the relationship that they're forming. And then when they get the opportunity to get out there, it's a plus for them, especially just knowing that this is going to be their life for the next 3 years. So, I mean, it's really cool just to see their growth from when we first got to campus to now.
Jaxson, after these road losses, the Georgia one, and then Saturday, Coach Pope, he's gotten upset. I don't think upset looking for him. He's pushed back against the slow start thing. He's like, we're not starting slow. It's that second 10 minutes of the first half that's kind of been a problem. Is there anything that you guys feel like you can do to change that? Because, I mean, Ansley is basically just known as a 40-minute game, and you can't have any let up at all.
Yeah.
Just a mindset thing?
I mean, obviously basketball is a game of runs, but like Ansley said, you got to be able to play solid for a whole 40 minutes. You can't have inconsistency as far as your effort or whatever it may be, but the full 40 minutes that Ansley said is definitely true.
Sorry if you asked this already, but Tennessee a big rival. I mean, you guys are all new, but you've grasped the rivalries really well. That Louisville game was huge. This is another one. Are you guys gonna try to kind of go out there for the fans and get this one for them?
I mean, yeah, we're trying to do it for the fans, but ultimately we're just doing it for each other. It's a brotherhood. We've been through ups and downs the whole season. We've been together for a few months now, getting to know each other personally, building great relationships, and we know all we got in this locker room is us. So at the end of the day, we're going to go out there and win for each other.
Have fans or anyone kind of talk to you about the Tennessee rivalry since you've been here? Like that's one of the ones.
Yeah, I guess. I kind of already knew about it, so it's nothing new. But like I said earlier, it's just like every other game. We know we got to go out there and compete and play hard, and hopefully get a win.
Jaxson, last week, Coach Pope was highly complimentary of the progress he'd seen from Brandon shooting threes. How impressed have you been with his growth this season?
It's been huge. We need BG as much as we can, especially with, Amari needs breaks. It's tough being a big in the SEC, dealing with all these big five-men. So when BG can get in and give us those threes, rebounds, and play great defense, it's really huge for us.
Have you given him any advice? Has he come to you for any pointers? Because, obviously you're a heck of a three-point shooter yourself.
As far as three-point shooting?
Yeah, specifically on that point, yeah.
No, not really. He should probably talk to Kobe Brea, if anybody. But nah, he hasn't. But I see him in the gym every day working on the shot with Coach Kell. And we all know BG can shoot it, and we know he loves that three at the top of the key. So anytime he shoots it, I think it's going in.
How do you feel like your game's coming along? You had those back-to-back 20-point-plus games. It seems like you're scoring more consistently a little bit. Do you feel like something's kind of clicking with you at all? Can you take another step forward?
Yeah, I have to. I feel like for us to keep winning, I just got to keep figuring out ways to improve and help my team more. That's really all it is. Scoring will come. I'm not really too worried about that, but like I said, just figuring out ways to help our team come out with the win, especially with these last back-to-back losses.
Jaxson, I understand this might be a difficult question for you to answer, but how quickly do you think this team picked up Coach Pope and his concepts compared to when you first got to BYU? How long maybe took you guys to settle into that?
Probably quicker, honestly, just because we knew that we only have 1 year here. So, it's either buy in or don't buy in, and if you don't buy in, it's not going to go well. At this point in the season, it's a matter of just trying to produce and go out there and do it. Night in, night out. And that's been our struggle a little bit, just being a little inconsistent. But, there's not much else you can expect when you have a completely new roster with a new coach. So we're just trying to figure out ways to just keep the consistency every night. And hopefully we'll get to it pretty soon.
Are guys talking to each other about it?
You guys mentioned turnovers for the Bandit game, but since you guys are 4-4, I think in the last 8, are you guys noticing any bigger themes, any bigger trends throughout those 4 losses?
We're just, I feel like sometimes we're getting away from us offensively. We're not really doing what we usually do, and it's like share the ball, take care of the ball, which is the theme that we saw last game that probably lost the game. One thing we do really well is take care of the ball, and we really did that last game.
And I know there have been multiple times after these road losses where Coach Pope has said, it's not that we get off the slow start, just that second 10. How do you guys work on that in practice, right? It just seems like that's so specific. How can you actually focus on something like that in practice?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I feel like that just has to be, we just got to stay focused. That's just us, something we got to figure out ourselves. I don't even know if we can practice that, like you said. It's just a mental thing. We got to be able to stay focused all 40, You can't have lapses.
I know it's kind of a fluid thing with Andrew and his back injury, but just in terms of yourself moving into the starting lineup, I guess what was kind of the timeline of you becoming aware of that for the Vanderbilt game, and was there anything that you did different or the same in your preparation to get ready for moving into the starting 5?
I probably found out the night before, maybe day of, so it wasn't really that big of a gap for me to find out and do anything differently. I wouldn't do anything differently anyways. I feel like I get prepared the same every game because I go in there, it doesn't matter if I'm starting or not, with the intention of doing my best. So it's not really any change.
You obviously had a great impact in the game, 2, 4, 5 from 3-point range. Just what was working for you out there, and how comfortable and how much of, in a flow maybe do you feel like with the offense right now?
I feel like we're in a good flow. I feel like when we're spreading the ball, we're moving the ball, trying to get everybody involved where, almost impossible to stop. I was hitting shots. It's just, what I came here to do, hit shots, and,
How are you guys getting ready for the Tennessee defense? I know they're statistically one of the best in the nation. As you've been getting ready, what do they do well, and what are you guys going to try to beat them with?
They're physical. They got good guards that guard. They got good bigs that hit the glass, and they're physical. So it's just gonna be a fight, you know. It's gonna be a dog fight. We're gonna go out there and be tough. It's just that simple. It's no schemes, no gimmicks. It's just go out there and be tougher. It's that simple.
Do they look similar defensively to anyone you've already faced so far, like A&M or Mississippi State?
We haven't really got too far into detail about that. I wouldn't. I'll probably find out today, but I don't know how similar they are to any other teams. I just know they're really physical, and that's something we got to be prepared for. Like, Vandy was physical last game, and Tennessee's going to take it up another notch. So, yeah.
I know you're new, all you guys are new, but still, you guys already have a good sense of the rivalries, right? Louisville. This is another one that, fans really want to beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
You guys kind of get ready for that? Like, you kind of want to get this one for the fans?
No, yeah, definitely do. You know, it's our big rival that people let us know once you committed. You know, there's certain teams that, you don't like here at Kentucky. You know, I definitely understand that, and I want to make sure we go take care of business tomorrow.
What does it feel like to have a court storming happen with you being on the other side of it?
It sucks, but it also makes you realize that people really, really want to be Kentucky, and it shows you how important the name on the front of the chest and the front of the jersey really is. So it's a privilege, but it does suck when it happens.
Is it just the way the roster and some injuries have shaken out for you guys over the course of the season? Some of the younger guys are getting a lot of run now. Obviously, Trent played really well in Nashville on Saturday. Just what do you see from each of the three freshmen so far that's allowed them to translate what they're doing in practice to have success in games?
They practice with us. Coach recruited them for a reason. They're all great players. They're ready when the number is called, and that's what makes our team so special. We have some guys, next man up mentality, so everybody here is ready to play. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes, 20, 30, or 30 seconds, they're ready to play.
As a veteran guy who's played in so many college basketball games over the years, is there any pointers or tips that you give them to, help them be prepared when they get inserted into a big-time SEC matchup?
Yeah, just stay ready. We practice against the best team in the country every day. That's how I feel we are. So you guys are definitely ready to, go out there and play against somebody else.
I'll take it that you guys have to get better at bringing the physicality to the opponent. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Just like I said, just being tougher. Like, Tennessee's about to be so physical. Like, we got to go out there and fight. It's just that simple. It's no basketball stuff. It's just really got to go out there and fight. It's a battle, Like, it's no strategy to it or anything. It's really just being tougher. It's that simple.
What were some other games do you remember where you guys didn't do that well?
Vandy was one of them. Georgia was one of them.
When do you feel like you guys did it well?
Even like Clemson, it was one of them too.
I feel like you guys did that in Texas A&M.
Texas A&M was a game that we did it really well. I feel like Florida was a game I think we did pretty well. We handled their physicality really well, and that's something we still got to grow with.
Is it a mentality that you kind of have to come into the game with instead of like waiting to see how the first few minutes play out?
Yes, that's something we need. Like, that's something we need to come in the game with. Come in the game ready to fight. Like, it's just that simple. Like, coming from a small school, like when we used to play these big schools, that's all we talked about. It's just going out there being ready to fight, being physical, going out there and being an aggressor. So that's all it is. It's, at the end of the day, we're all Division I basketball players. There's nothing that really separates us. It's just who's going to be the tougher guy that day.
How do you balance not fouling? So much has been made about the officiating, just how games are being called. I think you get first 10 minutes or whatever, not having a single foul call. Like, how do you balance?
Usually, the more physical team is called for less fouls. So as long as we're being aggressive or being physical from the jump, we probably won't be getting called as much fouls. It's just that simple. When you look at these physical teams like A&M and even like Florida, they don't foul, but they're really physical. Even Tennessee, they're really physical, but it's not like they foul a lot. It's just you got to be the aggressor, you got to be physical from the jump, and they won't call fouls.
Coach talked a little bit about just, trying to get you guys to be more adept at not fouling while still having that physicality, especially last week during the bye. So what did that kind of look like in practice or in film sessions?
Just focus. Like, we just had like a bigger focus in practice on, like, we're coaches, we're refs, they're calling fouls, telling us what not to do. Don't play with your hands, use your chest. move your feet, stuff like that. So that was more of a focus last week, definitely.
Yeah, not asking you to specifically comment on the officials or anything, but obviously you come from a different league. The SEC is reffed one way versus like the NEC was reffed. So as a player, and obviously it's a team full of transfers, how do you guys, I guess, adapt to a different style of officiating, or just, the whistle maybe coming in a different way?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like obviously you got to adapt, somewhat, but at the end of the day, it's still basketball. It's a physical league, so it shouldn't be that different, I just feel like that's just something we just gotta focus on. We've been focusing on that last week. I feel like we got better against VND, and that's something we gotta continue to get better at.
Ansley, certainly you, Kobe, et cetera, just go down the line. There's so many three-point shooters on this team. Last week, Coach Pope in there complimenting the growth he's seen from Brandon in that department. How impressed have you been with the growth you've seen from him shooting threes?
It's really impressive. He's staying after practice again, his extra work in, and he's been focusing on that more and trying to get his shots up so that when he's opening the game, he feels confident enough that he can hit it every time.
Do you try to give him any advice? You're like, well, I don't want to tell another guy how to, tweak his game or something.
No, I just try to tell him that, stay confident. Like if they leave you open, you got to shoot it. You got to make them respect you because that helps our offense in the long run.
Ansley, it's been kind of up and down from three since you started conference play, and I know it's hard to maintain that on a nightly basis. Jaxson just said, we don't know if it's going to be or not. We can just have to keep working. But are there things that you feel like you need to do off the ball or in other ways that aren't just getting up a shot that will help you guys gain that consistency you want?
I feel like just moving the ball and making plays for others, if we keep that focus, if we keep that in our minds always, we're going to end up with more open shots. So I feel like that's really something if we focus on, we will end up with more open shots, and open shots are obviously easier than contested shots. And that's where that would come from, to be honest.
Do you feel like you've had it all as a whole, or maybe as players needed just an adjustment period to the league? We talked about it's more physical, it's more this, it's officiated differently. Do you feel like that has happened, one? And two, is it over? Is it almost over? Do you feel like it never really was a thing?
I don't really feel like it was a thing. We've been practicing with each other since June, so we know it. Obviously we're all high-level players. Playing against high-level players. We had a good, tough non-conference schedule, so I don't really think it was that big of a adjustment period. To be honest, it's just we just gotta continue to focus to continue to get better every day, every game. So yeah.
Goes without saying, another tough matchup tomorrow, and it's a rivalry game. What do you expect, and what have you seen from Tennessee?
Just expect a physical game, a dogfight. It's going to be a battle in there, for all 40 minutes. It's going to be a war, and, it excites me. I can't wait to go out there and, represent Kentucky and fight for you guys, and it's going to be fun.
Jaxson gave you a lot of credit for really stepping up with Andrew being out on Saturday. At what point did you find out that you were going to get the start, and how do you stay ready for a moment like that?
Probably the night before the day of the game. It wasn't that far in advance where I really knew that I was going to get the start. You stay ready by just never having to really adjust. Every game I approach it the same way. Like I'm going to go out there and give it my best. Doesn't matter how many minutes I get. So then I didn't really have to adapt my routine to, I'm going to start today, or if I'm not, it's just staying ready at all times.
You guys turned the ball over a lot more in the first half, especially than you normally do in a game. What do you think attributed to that, maybe?
They were being an aggressor on defense. We weren't being physical. We were letting them push us around and get us off our spots, which is something that we just can't let happen, especially tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to be probably 10 times worse. So it's just we got to be ready from the jump, from the get-go, to be able to be physical and be the aggressor too.
How Tennessee doesn't play the prettiest style of basketball, and a lot different from how you guys prefer to play. Is it possible to kind of get them out of that rhythm and get them to run a little bit? How do you do that, I guess?
We're going to play our game, so they're going to have to. They're probably going to have to adjust themselves because we don't slow down for anybody, and it doesn't matter how slow they want to play. You can see even like Texas A&M, other teams that have tried to play slow. That's not really going to work against us, so they're going to have to probably adjust how they play.
What's the mood like right now in the locker room?
We're just hungry to get better. We're trying to get better every day. Obviously you want to win every game, but losses are just another opportunity to learn and be able to get better so that we're at our best when it comes to March and April.
What's it like when you've got somebody that's out, maybe not playing 100%? Just what's the vibe as you're going into a game? Does it put more pressure on you? Not necessarily you, but each person as a team to step up and make up for what's missing out there?
Not really. It's not really any pressure. You just go out there and just do what you can to help the team. I feel like it's not really an extra pressure that's added on your shoulders or anything. I just feel like, you go out there and do what you can do to help the team. It doesn't matter what role that may be or how that may be. You just go out there and do your best.
Has Coach Pope told you all at all about how Tennessee and Kentucky don't really like each other?
No, he hasn't really told us, but we understand, once we committed, we understood like how big this rivalry was. It was this Louisville. We understood that. So, we know tomorrow's going to be a big game, not just for us, but for all the fans, everybody that supports us. So, can't wait to go out there and represent you guys.
We talked about earlier in the season what not having Kerr does for you all game practice, but what does not having Andrew do for you guys in practice when you're minus another big body to go against?
Obviously, it's not the best, but we have guys like Trent is also he's a great player. He's stepped in there and obviously he made the most of his minutes the other day. So we have a great team, next man up mentality. It sucks to have some guys out, but I feel like we always have somebody to step up and take that spot if needed.
What have you seen from Trent, especially these last 3-4 weeks when he wasn't getting to play at all, but I assume contributing well in practice or putting a good opportunity?
Yeah, he's in there, he's getting his work done. He's staying confident, he's staying ready, which is something that it's just tough to do as a freshman. Usually you lose confidence stuff like that, but he's staying confident, staying ready, so that once his opportunity comes, he's ready to make the most of it.
How difficult is that to? Coach Pope has said that when he comes in, he's not shy about taking threes. And I know you're not shy about taking open threes, but that seems to be difficult for some people to kind of get in that mentality. He seems to do that naturally.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like a confidence thing. When you put in the work, you're confident in your ability, and you feel like you have a great chance to make the shot. So I just feel like the more you get in the gym, the more confident you are, and confidence is what attributes to, wanting to take those shots in games.
How important is it to get out to a hot start at Tennessee?
I feel like it's important, but I feel like we've been getting out to hot starts recently, and it hasn't really, stayed, true to the whole game. I feel like we just gotta be able to, even if they get out to a hot start, be able to respond, be able to, stay locked in for all 40 minutes. Doesn't matter if they're going on, if we're going on. We just gotta be able to stay locked in.
Coach Pope was talking about that second 10 minutes of the first half as being a problem area. Have you guys diagnosed what exactly that is, or could you put your finger on it?
It's not. I feel like we just gotta stay focused. We can't be having lapses. It's just we just gotta be tougher. That's part of being tough. It's not just being physical. It's about being mentally tough, being able to follow through the game plan for all 40 minutes, not have any lapses throughout the game.
I know you take them one at a time, but John Calipari's coming back in here on Saturday. I know you've been a UK fan watching him in the past. Just your thoughts on him as a coach.
Obviously he's a legendary coach. He's here for many years, won a national championship in the Final Fours, Elite Eights, has countless NBA players. So it's definitely going to be, a cool moment to be able to wear his jersey and play against him, and it's going to be a crazy atmosphere for sure.
Will it be, for the players who didn't play under him, will it be, once the game starts, any different, or is it just another game?
It's just another game. I feel like at the end of the day, we're just trying to win them all.
Do you get caught up in any of that outside noise about that game, and just kind of how hyped the fan base is about that one? Or
not really, to be honest. We're trying to take this one game at a time, and Tennessee is really a really big game for us. So we got to really focus on trying to get the job done tomorrow.
You mentioned it might be 10 times worse as far as their physicality and the way they. Just what have you seen from them specifically in that regard, and especially their defense on tape?
They're really physical, from 1 through 5. They're a physical team. They guard very well. They try to push you off their cuts, pressure the ball, and they're a really good rebounding team. And we just got to be ready to be able to handle all those things.
Why do you think this team has been able to kind of rise to the occasion in games like Tennessee? Just go down the list of kind of the high pressure, backs against the wall, maybe outside doubt creeping in, where you guys kind of seem to always overcome that.
It's just being able to respond. Coach talks about responses of the game. The game always is always asking you how you're going to respond to a win, to a loss, because that's what it's really about. It doesn't really matter about what you did today. It's about what you're going to do tomorrow. So, you just try to respond, good, bad, and you can get better.
What does your week kind of look like when you guys have a road game at Vanderbilt and you have to do film? I assume you have a light practice when you go to what does the days between kind of look like?
Yes, literally. Yesterday I had film walkthrough. Today we're gonna have semi-light practice, travel to Tennessee, do film, get on their court, probably get some shots up. Tomorrow, we're ready to go. Just gotta be ready to go by tomorrow.
Is there something different than when you've lost one, when you lose two, Ansley, just through your career, like your feeling or the team's feeling, or is it really just we need to win the next one, it doesn't matter?
I feel like that depends on who you ask. For me, it's really, I've been through a lot of seasons where, we lost a lot of games, but I really know what really matters is, when tournament time comes. Obviously, it sucks to lose in a moment, but as long as we get better from each loss, each win, it doesn't really matter. I know what this fan base wants. It wants another championship. That's what I want. I want to win the championship. So as much as I hate losing, we want to win the next game, but these games aren't the end of the world,
Do you think that's a benefit of having this specific team with all these veteran? I mean, basically everybody who's in the rotation is a veteran guy who's been through stuff like this before, to be able to look at that bigger picture and not game to game.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's something that that plays into our advantage. Just having this experience, we know what it's about. We've been through stuff like this before. We've been through adversity. We know how to respond. We're going to respond, and we'll be fine.
And does that manifest itself after games? Are guys talking to each other about that? Looking on to the next one and not maybe dwelling on it more so than other teams you've been on?
Yeah, more so than other teams for sure. We're trying to be able to move on, especially this league. You got quick turnarounds. You can't be focusing on losses and even wins. You got to be able to move on, move to the next game, and get ready to, take care of the next challenge.